Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer Sikora. I am a marketing advisor with a 24 and up startup studio, and I am here talking with Wayfound's CEO and co-founder Tatyana Mamut. Hi Tatyana, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Wayfound is a leader in guardian agents and active agent supervision, been around in the market probably, if not the longest, of all of the other vendors you'll find on the landscape. So Tatiana, I know you're bringing a great perspective to this about, where this should live functionally within the organization, and that is evolving as we've seen it over the past year. Engineering, of course, has been the driver for creating, implementing, integrating, and monitoring AI agents as they've kind of come into the world and then come into our business environments, and they've also been mostly holding the budget. But you are seeing that start to change, and I know you've been predicting a shift here, and perhaps explain to us where you see this going in terms of functionally, where is this going to live ultimately, agent supervision?
Yeah. So in 2024 and 2025, most organizations gave the vast majority of their budgets, actually all their budgets for AI tooling to their engineering teams. That's still primarily happening in 2026, but we are seeing one thing happening in 2026 as AI agents are being deployed, which is that the engineers have built the agent or a suite of agents, and they have said, you know what, we've kind of followed the spec, we followed the requirements, the definition of done is complete, and here's the agent. And then what happens is the experts, the business users who are actually subject matter experts in that subject. So for example, a finance agent, a payroll agent will start working, and the engineering team that not experts in, finance or payroll, they think
Right.
it looks fine with the way that it answers questions, the way that it pulls data. But the experts look at it and they say, this is slop. And is there are problems, right, in the organization. There are tensions, there are frictions. The subject matter experts don't think that the answers are completely correct. Yeah, the right
Yeah.
the right tool call was made, but the answer wasn't appropriate, right? And it wasn't appropriate from an expert's point of view. And
Right.
so that expertise, it's an expertise gap. And agent supervision and making sure that agents are doing what they're supposed to be doing means that they need to be directly managed by the experts that know and have all the context to know whether the agents are working well or not, whether they're performing correctly or not. And it's impossible to specify all the judgment, all the context, and all the edge cases for every single expert function in advance, right? So when you have it live in engineering, the engineers say, well, just give me all the specs and I'll build it
Yeah.
into the agent. Give me all the requirements. And the subject matter experts are like, this is my expertise that I've built over 30 years. I can't possibly write you one document that tells you everything about how I use my judgment and do my job.
Yeah. It's like coaching people, right? You wouldn't, your HR manager can help you bring a person onto your team and get them hired, but you wouldn't want to train and improve their knowledge and their skills by going to the HR manager to go and train that person on what you want to know, right? It's analogous.
Yeah, and you also wouldn't want to have them managed by, in
Right.
this case, the IT team cannot possibly manage all of the, product and marketing and sales and customer service and finance and HR. They can't
Yeah.
possibly manage all of these agents across the company because they're not experts, right? They can manage the coding agents because they're experts in coding, but
Yeah.
the rest of the functions the agents need to be directly supervised, and the feedback has to come directly from the subject matter experts because that is the only way that the agents are really going to learn the judgment, the taste, and the good, what good looks like from the actual experts themselves.
Yeah, and AI is obviously making it easier and easier for people to do things without having to have the technical knowledge and the expertise, right? So you don't need to go directly to engineering every time you want to make a substantive material knowledge improvement to an agent. So especially with a solution like Wayfound, which is built for the non-technical user to do that. So where do you see the relationship then between the business owner of the agent and the engineer? What's that going to look like moving forward for agents?
Yeah, I think that your analogy of the HR team is a really good one, which is, when at a day to day level, the subject matter experts, the business users, need to be able to see what their agents are doing, give them feedback, and understand whether they're performing their jobs well. Okay. So you need a really business user friendly experience and tool like Wayfound for business users to be able to interact directly with their agents, to be able to read the logs, read the transcripts, read everything the agent's doing, even read its reasoning without having to call upon the engineering team or log into a super technical tool, right? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, but when they need a big overhaul in the agent, so like the HR team, right? When you need to fire or hire a new employee, that's when you call on the engineering team, just like you would call on the HR team, like to say, hey, I need to fire this employee, I need to hire a new employee. That's when HR steps in. And that's when IT or engineering should step in as well with AI agents, right? When you need a complete rebuild of the
Yeah.
agent or you need something completely different
Yes.
than what you're getting.
This makes a lot of sense. And I was reading a little bit about some of Wayfound's use cases. One of them is a customer or a portfolio company from our startup studio called 531 Social. And an example of them from a customer standpoint, engineer brought them in, plugged them in within probably less than an hour. But it's the CEO and the founder that's really kind of, using and leaning on the Wayfound agent to ensure that his product that he built, his agent-led product, is performing well. Can you give some other tangible examples or elaborate on that one in terms of the benefits of having the line of business person own this?
Yeah. So when the line of business owns what the agent is doing, when they can see exactly what the agent is doing, when they can give the agent feedback directly, you get much faster improvement in the agent and you get a much closer alignment between because remember, the agent is having touch points with your customers and then you're having touch points with your customers. And if those two things are disconnected, right, the customer has a really disconnected experience.
Yeah.
And so being able to connect that experience by providing that business user friendly experience to be able to see what the agent is doing and how it's talking to customers is critical to providing a unified customer experience.
This is great. Well, thanks so much, Tatyana. I think it's exciting to know that, as more and more agents are moving into production and helping to support our businesses, that there's going to be more solutions, especially made available by Wayfound for the business to take control and manage the success of those agents. And it's going to be a magical world here in the future.
Yes, it is. Thanks, Jen.